But godliness with contentment is great gain. And I'm going to read the introduction. Shalom, Israel. Thank you for coming together for another weekly Sabbath lesson. Today, we will search the scriptures and learn to put away a covetous spirit. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of His holy word. So before we move forward, I wanted to give some time for us to get the definitions, see what synonyms to use with this, to see in what context it could be, because being content can mean a few different things. So contentment, it says a state of happiness and satisfaction. You also have synonyms for it. It says content, satisfaction, gratification, fulfillment, happiness, pleasure, cheerfulness, ease, comfort, well-being, peace, and pronounce that word, equanimity, serenity, and tranquility. So being content doesn't always just mean you settling for something, or you got something and that's it. It could also mean that you're showing gratitude for what you got. You're happy. You can see that people that probably are not content with things or content the way they life, or they unhappy. They always, down and depressed because they feel like they don't have what they should have, or they looking at somebody else and what they got and frustrated about it. So we're gonna go into the scriptures to see what the Lord says about that. So I'm gonna first start off in Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. Have Larry read for me. And this is when Moses was given the commandments, the 10 commandments actually. We're going to read verse 17. So we know who was in Exodus when we came out of Egypt. He was speaking to the Israelites. So let's read verse 17.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
So we learned last week to love thy neighbor as thyself, or love thy brother as thyself. So your neighbor, Elijah, is who?
Your brother or your family.
Right. Who's our family?
Israelites.
Exactly. So Israelites is our family. So we shouldn't be coveting things that somebody else got. To covet, let's click on it again. It says to desire or take pleasure in, delight in other people things, what everybody else got.
Lust.
It's basically a lust. So this is a law. This is a commandment from God. He's saying to not have that spirit. It should be, the Lord is gonna provide you with everything that you ever need and want, as long as you put your trust in Him, you keeping the commandments, doing what you're supposed to do. He gonna make sure you're gonna have abundance in all things. So let's go. Now that we know that law, let's go to the next verse. We're gonna go to 2 Samuel. Read a quick story about King David. 2 Samuel chapter 11. I may have heard this story before, so go through this real quick. It's a whole chapter. We might skip around a little bit, but I want to make sure we get the full understanding of what's going on. So 2 Samuel chapter 11.
2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 1. And it came to pass, after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel. And they destroyed the children of Ammon, and besieged Rabbah. And David tarried still at Jerusalem. Read. And it came to pass in the eventide that David arose from off his bed, and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And the woman was very beautiful to look upon.
So David sees a beautiful woman as he's standing at the housetop. And keep reading with verse 3.
And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, is this not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?
So David was inquiring about this woman, like, who is this woman? And one said to him, isn't this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah?
Cover your head.
Don't.
So Uriah, this is an Israelite. It's one of his brothers. So they told him who it was. They said, oh, that's Eliam's daughter. Uriah's wife that you see. Verse 4.
One more thing. Uriah the Hittite. The Hittite was one of the other heathens, but that man was under David's control. And David sent messengers and took her and came in unto him. And he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness. And she returned unto her house.
So David sent the messengers out. He took her, lay with the woman. We know what that means. And then she returned back to her house after she was purified from her uncleanness. Meaning what?
She sinned, man.
Exactly.
She had another husband. She had a husband named Uriah. And we know the rule about that, right? Can we sleep around with somebody else's wife? The title of the lesson is don't covet. So verse 5. Verse 5. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child.
So he messed around, sleeping with that woman, got her pregnant. And so we've seen stuff like this happen within our people doing that. You mess around and get your side chick pregnant. Because you over there seeing something that you like just with your eyes, you lusting, you desiring that. So verse 6.
And David sent Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered.
Read on.
And David said unto Uriah, come down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house. And there followed him a mess of meat from the king.
Verse 9.
One more thing. David said he left the king's house, and when he went home, he said he followed him a mess of meat from the king. Who is the king? David. So David, he trying to hook him up.
Yeah.
He slept with this man's wife and gonna send him a whole bunch of feast food or whatever. Trying to be nice to him.
He doesn't know though.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Don't know what David did. And verse 9. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of the Lord, and went not down to his house.
So he was doing all this and telling him, he was like, hey, go to your house, man. I'm giving you all this food and everything. And go back to the house, have a good time with your wife. Because what he trying to do, we going to read now, it's going to tell us. He trying to
make it seem like Uriah is the father.
Right. Go down and sleep with your wife, man. You done been in war and all of this. And
he was one of David's servants. Remember, we had the nations under our captivity during that time. So they was battling, going to war for us under David's command too.
Deception.
Right. So verse 10.
And when they told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah, camest not thou from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thy house?
Why you ain't go to your house, man? You just came for this journey, man. I gave you everything pretty much that you needed to go down to the house. Verse 11.
Send food with you to have a good time with your wife. Get full, love your wife, but he ain't falling for it. So verse 11. And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents. And my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go in mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest, and as thy soul liveth, I will not do such a thing. This thing.
So he was basically just telling him, man, how could I go eat and drink and lay with my wife when we encamped in the open fields and in war right now, basically, man. He wasn't even trying to do that. He wasn't thinking about that. Verse 12.
And David said to Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart.
So stay here another day. I'll let you depart tomorrow.
So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow.
Read on.
And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before David, and he made him drunk. And at the evening he went out to lie in his bed with the servants of the Lord, but went not down to his house.
So he still didn't go to his house. He made him drunk. He made him eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk.
You know how liquor do you?
Yep.
You want to lay down with your wife or with a woman. You're more prone to.
Right. And David, that's his goal right now. He's trying to get him to go to the house. He's like, man, I had to get this man at his house so he can lay down with her. So that way it looks like the timing is, he knows it's his baby, it's not my baby. So, verse 14.
And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah.
Read on.
And he wrote in the letter saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die.
So he sent a letter by Uriah. Uriah don't even know what's in the letter. He just sent it to Joab, and Joab tell him. He basically tell him, hey, put him in the front line of the war, the hottest battle. And then he said, retire ye from him that he may be smitten and die.
This is a setup.
It's setting him up. Because the man won't lay down with his wife. He knows it's about to go down, or he's going to look bad on him if he done slept with this woman and got her pregnant. So he's like, I got to kill this man now. Mm-hmm. And this is showing you the spirit that this man has. He's had a covetous spirit just over the fact of him seeing another woman. And he wants to lay down with her, and then sin creeps in, because now he got to cover his tracks, sin on top of sin. So now we seeing. Let's skip down a little bit. So he said he's trying to set him up to die. Let's see.
Is when he dies.
Started verse 20.
Verse 20. And if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say also unto thee, wherefore approach ye so nigh unto the city, when ye did fight? Knew ye not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech, the son of Jeruzabeth? Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall, and he did die in Tebez? Why went ye nigh the wall? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also.
So they're giving him a report back from the war, what happened. He got the report back, basically letting them know that Uriah's dead now.
But David trying to play it off like he don't know.
Give me the report. They're like, yeah, what happened? He knew that man.
He was just waiting to hear the words Uriah died.
Yep. So read on.
So verse 22. So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent for him. And the messenger said unto David, surely the men prevailed against us, and came out unto us into the field, and we were upon them evening until entering of the gate. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So they finally now giving them the report.
Right. And go ahead, just skip down to 26 and 27.
Verse 26. And when the wife of Uriah had heard that Uriah her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the morning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But that thing that David has done displeased the Lord.
So he got the Lord upset at him, man, because he done all this evil, man. Set this man up. Well, slept with his wife first, set the man up, got him killed. Now he done brought the woman in, and now she his wife.
Covered in that man's wife. Now this man dead. He was just a faithful servant of David. him with that covetous eye, wanting to sleep with that man's wife, got him dead for no reason.
Right. Like he said, which is a good point he brought out, him being a servant. We treated our servants like family anyway. They had to follow the same commandments and rules that we did.
We didn't treat them harsh.
We didn't treat them harsh. Like, in our captivity is different for us. The wicked are in control right now, so the way they treat their servants is totally different than how when we was on top, we was treating our servants, man. They, like you said, we wasn't to do stuff like this to them. So we're gonna go to chapter 12, and we just reading 1 through 9.
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 1. And the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were 2 men in one city, the one rich and the other poor.
So Nathan, the prophet, coming to him, and he's about to give him a little parable type thing, story. And we're gonna see what it's talking about.
2 men in the city, one rich, one poor. The rich man had exceedingly many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb, which he had brought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. And it did eat of his own meat, and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter.
So this rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds. This man had a lot. This man was rich. Had everything. This poor man ain't had nothing but one little lamb. And he cherished that lamb like he said, it was under him as a daughter. So he cherished it up. He fed him and nourished him and everything, man. So that was precious to him, because it's like you poor and you got something, the one little thing you got, you cherish that. You like, man, I ain't got everything in the world, but I got this at least, and I'm gonna cherish that.
That's beautiful.
So verse 4.
But there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd, to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb, and dressed it for the man that was come to him.
Explain that. So a traveler, right?
Yeah.
Came unto the rich man, and he said he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd.
So he's telling them, man, take your own flock, your own herd. You got a lot. Didn't it say he had abundance?
He had exceeding flock, many herd.
But with this man's covetous eye, he took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was to come. So imagine you only got one thing in your life that's beautiful. You done made it the one little, it's like, yeah, the one little thing you got, you dressing it up, it look beautiful. Now this man got all this stuff over here. He don't even want his stuff. He looking at the little you got that you took care of.
Exactly. So verse 5.
And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man.
So David hot. He hearing the story. He like, man, read on.
And he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that done this thing shall surely die.
So David, he's feeling some type of way about this man, and we're gonna see what's popping. Verse 6.
David, verse 6, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity.
So he's saying that man need to restore that lamb fourfold, and he had to show no pity on this poor man.
What is fourfold, y'all?
4 times more, right?
Yeah. I just wanted to see if they got it. Remember we said if you take something from somebody, you
restore it back unto them what they got plus some.
Mm-hmm. So David was like, you got to restore this 4 times.
So he know the law. David know the law. But guess what? Verse 7.
And Nathan, the prophet, said to David, thou art the man.
He said, you that man. He going back out and saying, you just did this, man. How you...
You're the man with all the exceeding things that stole from the man that only had one ewe lamb, one little lamb.
Exactly.
Thus said the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul.
He said, I made you the king of Israel, and I delivered you out of the hand of Saul, who was trying to kill you. If y'all remember the story of David and Saul, Saul didn't like David.
Saul was the first king of Israel. Saul was wicked. The Most High used David. And like he said, Saul was trying to kill David.
and had opportunity to.
He
But
said, I delivered you out of Saul's hand.
he delivered him out of the hand of Saul. Verse 8.
I gave thee thy master's house,
I gave you the master's house,
and thy master's wives into thy bosom.
the master's wives.
And I gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that been too little,
And if that wasn't enough,
I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things.
I'd have given you even more had you asked for it, had you done right by it. So y'all see how the Lord is talking. He's telling you, man, like, you don't have to go out and be coveting other people's stuff. As long as you're doing what you're supposed to, keeping the commandments,
Derek Fisher.
he gonna give you an abundance of everything that you need. And we're gonna go into more scriptures that's talking about these things. Read verse 9.
Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord,
Why you ain't keeping the commandments?
to do evil in his sight?
Why would you do that? You the king, you know better.
David thought he didn't know. This is a prophet. The prophet telling all your business. Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and thou hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon.
So that's it on that one, but we see the pic, we see what's going on. He basically he did all that evil, and this prophet came and told him a parable that was about him. And he later on, if you read the rest by yourself, he basically he confessed his sin. He said, yeah, I sinned. And the child that actually he was supposed to have with her ended up dying. But then she got pregnant again, and she ended up having Solomon.
But guess what? This is the beginning of the fall of the kingdom of Judah.
Exactly. All because of his covetous eye. So this is why you see these things go into generations. It's like once you sin, that could follow you.
Solomon sinned the same.
Solomon did the same thing.
That's the picture on here too
So
of the baby.
yeah, that's the picture on it. Let me go to it real quick. Of the baby dying. So you see.
But see, and he was real shook up behind that baby dying.
Exactly. All because of his sin, but he knew. So it's just letting you know that even the kings back in our days, our people, they did these things, man. So only Christ walked the earth perfect. The rest of them, because I'm telling you, I hear people at work or different places, and they say, well, the people in the Bible did it. They had multiple wives, and they did this. And the Lord is telling you he was displeased by that. He wasn't happy about that. So why would you try to follow the bad examples? You should follow the good examples that they do. All of this is in here for our learning, even the bad stuff, to know what not to do also. Let's go to Proverbs.
Chapter 15, 14 through 16.
14 through 16, and then skip down to 27.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 14. And who is this talking?
This is Solomon.
Solomon. David's son.
David's son. One of the wisest kings.
The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness.
That pretty much speaks for itself. Verse 15.
All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast.
So in this verse, when it says all the days of the afflicted, click on afflicted. The poor, afflicted, humble, wretched, needy. But also could be just somebody that's walking around. They walking around just they pitiful. Like you said, they in a low state. He said, but he that is of a merry heart is gonna have a continual feast. So if even through your hard time, if you can at least keep a smile on your face and be thankful for what you got, and just thank the Lord for everything. He said, that merry heart, you're gonna have a continual feast. It ain't weighing you down so heavily to where you.
It's just like being negative about everything.
Right, exactly.
Or staying positive.
Exactly. He said, because when you were walking around mad all day, it's evil. It's just like it brings a bad spirit on other people. You know what I'm saying? So
Like Uriah, he only had that one little lamb, they said. But he nourished it up. He wasn't looking at everybody else and like, man, look at everybody got this and that. He was happy and content with what he had.
Verse 16 was something else.
So verse 16.
Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith.
So the Lord telling you, it's better to have little, but have the fear of the Lord with you. The little bit you got, if you feel God keep His commandments, hey, that's great treasure. But it's better than great treasure, as in the sense of having a lot, but then be in trouble with it. Like you got like David, man, he had all that wealth and was a king, and he still wasn't happy. He had to go after this man's wife. Now you done messed around and sin and caused some other stuff to creep in that you didn't have to let in.
We see it with rich people today.
They not happy.
They not happy with their life. We look at them and it's like, man, we wish but people that ain't on their level wish they had. They like, man, I wish what y'all had. They see a family, they see love, they see unity. They like, man, we don't have none of that.
And you'll see some rich people will tell you themselves, man, nah, you really don't want this life. Cause it's nothing but drama, man. Just think if you just was to pop up with, you won a lotto, man, 50 million or something. You know how much your life gonna be different after that?
Your name in the paper.
Yeah.
By sight.
Family members know you got money now. They gonna be hitting you up like crazy. Everybody they're coming out the woodwork for you now. The government coming after you now.
People trying to take advantage. They
can kill you. Cause the government know you got money. They coming after taxes. They want they cut.
Women sick in themselves.
It's not easy to be rich. People think when you get rich, it solve all your problems. But if you ain't got God behind you, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't strong enough to deal with all of that.
It's a target on you, back.
Let's skip down to verse 27.
Verse 27. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house. But he that hateth gifts shall live.
So he that's greedy of gain, always trying to come up, he gotta get more.
And content.
He said he's troubling his own house. But he that hateth gifts shall live. He that's content with what he got, basically, is he got that gift of life. And that could go into a lot of different things when it says greedy of gain. Because we know the Sabbath day is our day of rest. You go out there, you trying to, I gotta get this money. It's the Sabbath. I'm gonna still get out here and go grind. You know it's the Sabbath. You troubling your household. Now your household not keeping the commandment that it's supposed to keep. You trying to get more. You thinking that little extra check gonna help you, but in the long run, the Lord, it just makes and move some other stuff around, make you have to pay more on some other stuff.
Yep. So money gone, you working for nothing.
Exactly. So why not just keep the commandments with the little you got? He gonna supply you with what you need. Don't worry. So let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17, 9 and 10. This is for the ones that say, "Oh man, it's gonna let you know that what God thinks about our hearts." And we know the heart is the mind, but some other people say like, "Oh yeah, in my heart, I know I'm," they're always trying to reference their heart. But let's see what the Lord say about the heart.
Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
So naturally, without God, in your heart is deceitful above all things.
Your mind.
You thinking the things that's coming in your mind that you're trying to do. You think in your mind, you think, all right, man, this is right. Like I'm doing what's right. It feels good. It feels like, why not go out and get some extra money for my household on the Sabbath? I'm just trying to help my family out. You think you're doing right, or whatever it is. It could be anything. Whatever you desiring after, you think, oh, I just want to do this for that. But most of the time, your heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. You say, who can know it?
Your mind can justify anything.
Exactly.
Verse 10. I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings.
So the Lord is the one that's going to be the judge of your heart and of your thoughts. Because you don't really know what. You think you done seen something on TV and now something that crept in your mind. You like, dang, I want that now. But you thinking it's because of good. But the Lord said, look, I'm gonna give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing. So it's certain things that you now you can see why you don't get certain things. There's certain things you probably wanted, and the Lord said, nah, I ain't giving you that because you didn't want it for the right reasons.
Imagine those prayers we used to send up when we wasn't in our right mind.
Lord, give me $1 million. Lord, let me get this car on rim, Lord. And the whole reason you wanted was to stun or something, but to go shine. Believe me, we've been there. I've been there. Praying for stuff that I had no business praying for. And sometimes you gotta be careful of what you pray for, because he'll give it to you knowing that you're gonna fail with it. He know you're gonna mess up. Yeah. But then he'll say, my wife says it all the time, so it's certain things that the Lord does, we don't know at the time why he's doing it or why he's not giving you what you think you deserve at that point. But later on, he giving you something later is coming. That he like, nah, this ain't the time. I need you to wait this out for a second.
For example, position at the job. I've been wanting to get a better position at this job for the longest. I ain't getting no better position. Now I'm about to leave the job and get in a whole nother profession that's way better than that job. Imagine if I'd have got that position. I'd have been stuck up in that place. It wouldn't have been worth it.
Exactly. So the Lord knows best, man. He said he searches the heart and tries the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing. So don't always. So sometimes you gotta sit back and be like, all right, Lord, if it's according to your will, that's what you need to be saying. Then let me, give me what you think I should have, or help me through this situation. If I need to stick this out a little longer, let me stick it out. Because you would think in your heart, no, I gotta have this. I gotta have that. And he's telling you, your heart is deceitful. Don't believe it all the time. Your mind can sometimes play tricks on you.
These commercials will have you covered in everything, man. You didn't even want none of that stuff until you saw it on the commercial.
Exactly. So we're going to go to Mark chapter 7, 21 through 23.
That's on the page?
Yeah, it's the next one, right here.
On the side of proper for Jeremiah.
Oh, excuse me.
Mark 7.
Mark chapter 7, verse 21. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders. That's all three David just did. Thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness. Click on that word for it, because it ain't something we use every day.
Lasciviousness. Unbridled lust. Wantonness. Outrageousness. Shamelessness. You just
out there, your mind.
Filthy lust, man. Your mind is just out there, man.
You know how you see something, they be feeling like they compelled to see. I got to have that. An evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evils come from within and defile the man.
So it's a precept basically from Jeremiah showing you the same thing in the New Testament.
Israel going through all of that right now.
Exactly. This is why we have to read these scriptures to discipline our souls, discipline our minds to say, I don't need that, man. Nah, I'm good. Lord, thank you for what I got. If it's in your will, sometimes you got to pray to him to remove those things, remove those thoughts from you.
For example, you might have a good, faithful woman at home. For example, my woman. Feed the family, beautiful, cook everything. But they got people at work with lustful eyes and want to be dipping and dabbing up in everything. Love what you got, man. Verse
No, that's it on that one. So this was basically a precept on Jeremiah showing us the same thing. Your heart, which is your mind, because it says that comes from within, precedes these evil thoughts, man. You said what?
Nah, you said.
So let's go to the next one. Matthew chapter 6. We're going to start at verse 19. Go down to 21 and we're going to skip down a couple other verses. Matthew 6 and 19.
Matthew 6:19. Lay not for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal.
So this is Christ talking. He said, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth. He said, because that stuff, moth and rust is going to corrupt it anyway. Thieves going to try to break in and steal your stuff. But what? Verse 20?
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven.
But lay up for yourselves the treasures of heaven. Get into this word and learn it and get wisdom and knowledge. And now that's a treasure in itself. Because now you're going to be able to maneuver and have discernment through this world while other people are struggling with these things that you ain't struggling with no more. Because you done practiced and rehearsed these righteous acts. Now it's becoming easier and easier for you to say, nah, I ain't going to the club. I'm good. What I need to... all the time, we all need to go out. For what? I ain't going with y'all for what? I already know what's down there. I know what's at the club.
We ain't gonna do nothing but get sloppy. Somebody gonna get a DWI. Somebody gonna fight. Somebody gonna be flirting with somebody.
Exactly.
Girl.
You know what's gonna happen. So why do I need to go through this? The Lord had already showed me many a times the same thing gonna happen. Even when I done said before, I'm just go down here, have a drink and leave. It always turns into 1 drink, then 2 drinks, then 3. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Next thing you know, you out here wild.
You gone.
Verse 21.
So
read verse 20 again.
But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal.
Ain't no moth or rust gonna corrupt this word. Ain't no thieves can come through and steal this word. It's out there. Once you got it, you hold on to that.
Verse 21.
Yeah. 21.
For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
So he's telling you, if you lay up, if your treasures is in this earth, that's where your heart gonna be. You gonna be after that all day long. You ain't. We gonna see a verse that's gonna show us that. He's telling you whatever you cherish as treasure, that's where your heart.
If you're a
be.
womanizer,
that's where your focus gonna be on. Womanizing. If your focus is on money, you're always chasing after money. But if your focus is on God, and it truly is, you're going to always seek after Him. You're going to be putting all that other stuff to the side and be getting into the Word. Skip down to verse 24.
Verse 24. No man can serve 2 masters.
We done heard this before.
For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
Let's click on mammon just so we know what that sound like.
Man.
Treasure, riches.
You can't serve God and riches. It's impossible. You can't do it. So don't think, oh no, I can get this money and be. Nah, the Lord already said you can't do both. Choose, man. That's not to say not go out there and help and do for your family. No, it's saying don't have a love for it so much that you put Him to the side for it.
That's guess what? Once you work hard to get, once you working all the time to get something, then you're going to be working all the time to get something else. Then you're going to be working all the time to get something else. Now your kids grown and wild. You ain't even at home raising.
Exactly. You done been working so much, you done forgot, oh snap.
You got all these treasures.
My kids at home.
You got all these treasures in the house, with
nobody.
Your family is corrupt.
Yep. Can't even enjoy it.
Yep. You get the.
So he said, we've heard this verse so many times, now we're getting a proper understanding of what he's talking about. You can't be lusting and desiring all these other things and then claim that you love God and that you about His work. You can't do it. So let's skip down to 32 and 33.
Verse 32. For after all these things do the Gentiles seek.
So this is what the Gentiles do. Who's the Gentiles?
Other nations.
Other nations. This is the things that they do. They desire after all this stuff. He said, for after all these things do the Gentiles seek. He's letting you know this is their way of living. This is how they do things. We different. We the children of God. We're not supposed to live like that.
They don't give a damn about God's law or doing what's right according to God. They love riches.
Exactly.
Material.
They think that's success, is having all these riches.
Excessive things. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things.
So the Lord know what you need. Verse 33.
But seek ye first the kingdom of God.
First seek the kingdom
and His righteousness.
And His laws.
And all these things shall be added unto you.
He's going to give you what you need and more. Like He told David, I gave you the kingdom. gave you wives, I gave you masters to the master's house. And if that wasn't enough, I'd have gave you more. But see, you went out here and slept with this woman for no reason and killed this man and killed your servant for no reason. Just because you had a covenant eye. You see where that can lead you? Let's go on to Ephesians chapter 4. Who's in Ephesians?
The Israelites were in Ephesus.
Ephesus. We're going 17 through 24.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 17. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind.
So, hey, this is Paul's letters. He said, I say therefore and testify in the Lord that ye henceforth from here on out don't walk as the other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. What's vanity? Just click on it.
To be vain, to be full of yourself.
What is devoid of truth and appropriateness, perverseness, depravity, frailty, want of vigor.
Y'all know how it is in America? If we walk the way they trained us to have a mindset of, we ain't got no love for the laws here.
You just fooling yourself because all that's in vain. He said it ain't the truth. You basically just living in lies when you living like a Gentile. Verse 18.
Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart.
So they living in darkness. And we know that darkness is sin. He said they're alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them. So you know what it means to be alienated? Basically means you're estranged from it. You're shut out from one's fellowship. You ain't living with God. God ain't with you when you living in this world, man. And we can attest to that. Because we know how it is. What's the difference now in our life to when we didn't have the truth and we wasn't keeping the law? We see the difference. Life is totally different. You're at peace. You know the Lord looking after you because you're keeping His word, you're keeping His commandments. He said because of the blindness of their heart. Remember, we keep bringing up the heart and the mind. They blind. They don't understand what's going on because they not in these scriptures. Verse 19.
Who being part past feeling, having given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. So in the past, when we used to live, we used to give ourselves over to lasciviousness, and we love that means that filthy lust. Yeah, that big time lust, and to work all uncleanness with greediness. Man, we were just out there. We didn't care about the law. We didn't even try to open the book to find out what was right according to God. We were just living the way the American way.
Verse 20.
But ye have not so learned Christ. If so, be that ye have heard Him and have been taught by Him, as the truth is in Jesus.
He said, but ye have not so learned Christ. So you didn't learn Christ back then doing all that. He said, if so, be that ye have heard Him and have been taught by Him, as the truth is in Jesus. Because we know what the truth is now, the laws, keeping the commandments and putting away that old stuff. Verse 22, don't say it.
That ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. That ye put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness.
So you got to put off that old conversation. Conversation not meaning just talk, but the way you carry yourself. It says your manner of life, your conduct, your behavior. You got to put off that old stuff, all that old covetous ways and lasciviousness and uncleanness, greed, just wanting everything.
It should be a change in your life once you learn and do these laws. So you no longer that old woman or that old man you was living in. You know, you used to cuss people out at a heartbeat. Some people used to be a thief, a liar. You put away that old man. Whatever your lust is, whatever your old desire that kept you away from God, you got to renew your spirit, the spirit of your mind.
Start with your mind, because remember, he told us that the heart or the mind is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. So you have to renew that. You have to start changing the way you think first. That way, your pattern and your actions not gonna change after that. And now you're gonna be this new man in Christ, and you're gonna be created in righteousness and true holiness. Now you truly can shine a light to everybody and show them how we should walk.
People can see that change in you.
They see you not down for the same stuff. They already know. So let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6, 3 through 11, and then 17 through 19.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 3. If any man teach otherwise, and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Jesus Christ, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doeth about questions and strife of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings. What is that, man? Surmising. Excuse me.
Evil surmisings. Suspicions. Evil suspicion.
Alright. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself.
So, quick, let's go over these couple verses. So he said, if any man is teaching not the doctrine of Christ, basically, and not consenting to wholesome words, meaning good words, things that are of God, then that man is proud. He don't know nothing. All he doing is doubting about questions of strifes and words. He always just trying to question your doctrine. And, well, what about this? He ain't trying to learn nothing. He just doing it just for strife and railings and evil suspicion. And he says this man is perverse. Well, he says perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and he's destitute of the truth. He ain't got the truth though. He said, and this man thinks that gain is godliness. He thinks that him having wealth is godliness. That shows me that God is with me. If I got all this money, I got all this, and you ain't got nothing. You preaching this word on the corner. You don't know that
all the time too.
How you gonna tell me something and I got way more than you? What can you tell me? That's what he thinking.
Supposing that gain is godliness.
But verse 6.
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
Title of the lesson right there. But godliness with contentment is great gain. We just read what contentment is, right? Contentment. Let's click on it again. We got the definition on the internet. It says a perfect condition of life in which no aid or support is needed, sufficiency of the necessities of life, a mind contented with its lot. So basically, you got enough. You're sufficient with what you got. He said, having that spirit and godliness, basically, you keep the laws and you got what you got, and you happy with it, you satisfied, you grateful for the things you got. That's great gain. That's the great gain you looking for.
You ain't sitting around depressed because you ain't on brother such and such or sister such.
Because you ain't living in a mansion and you got 3-4 Lamborghinis in the lot or sitting on whatever.
Well, I ain't got a big chain.
You got money off falling out your pocket to where you can go spend it excessively for no reason.
Look, you gonna get yours in the end if you keep these laws.
We gonna have way more than that in the kingdom. We can't even imagine the things we're gonna have in the kingdom. So this stuff right now is nothing compared to that. He said, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Verse keep going, verse 7.
For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we carry nothing out.
We ain't bring nothing in this world. We came in butt naked, we leaving the same way. we ain't
nothing.
You ain't had nothing when you came in. So what are you trying to get all this gain for? This wealth and this treasure.
I already told you other people gonna be fighting for it when you leave.
Exactly. So don't cherish those things so much, man.
These things break. These things get old and don't even work no more. You done worked all this overtime for this.
Don't stress yourself out over that stuff. Verse 8.
And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
Hey, you got food in the refrigerator. You got a house, shelter, you got raiment, you got clothing, you got enough to get you by.
You got food on your table and clothes on your back.
Be content with that. Be happy that you got that. Because there's some people on the street that ain't got that. No, they don't know where their next meal coming from. They got to get clothes from somebody else. But you got that, and you can steady complaining about what you ain't got. It's always somebody that got it worse than you. Verse 9.
But they that be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts,
Wow.
which drown men in destruction and perdition.
Ooh.
Perdition.
But you want to be rich though, right?
More money just means more
More
options.
money what?
But see, we got to tell our children this.
But
because
it
the
just means
children...
more options.
Exactly. The children have to hear this. I mean, even adults got to hear it, but especially the children, because they see on TV and everybody else shining. They see the fancy cars on the music
And they not
videos.
even living like that.
Exactly. He said, but look, you want to be rich, right? He said, they that are rich going to fall into temptation and a snare. A snare is a trap. You're going to fall into a trap because you got all this money. Now you into all this foolish and hurtful lust. Because that's all that money do is everything your heart desired, the evil thoughts, now you can do those things because you got all the money
When
in
you
the world.
poor, you can in your wicked heart want it, but you can't even get it.
Exactly.
Now you rich, you'll be dead within a couple of years.
That's why you see certain people
Yeah, so
when they get their money.
celebrities, they go to drugs
Oh,
because
man.
they got everything they want.
Exactly.
Drugs is the
You done gave a man that's done grew up his whole life poor, and all of a sudden, in the snap of a finger, he got all the money in this world. That man don't know what to do with all that money. He ain't been reading the Bible. He ain't been knowing that you need to be content with what you got.
Imagine if drugs it was your thing while you was poor, and all of a sudden you rich now.
Like
You
said,
gonna have
dead
excess of
with
drugs,
your
and you
money.
out there.
Remind
Look,
me of Lamar Odom. Like, remember he went to the brothel and all that.
Hey, he
Passed
said
out.
these things drown men in destruction and perdition.
it's Lamar around with the
Perdition
women
is
and drugs.
destroying, utter destruction, ruin of money. The destruction which consists of eternal misery and hell. You gonna just kill yourself.
Thank God I'm not rich, man. Because I probably wouldn't even be here to change my life.
My wife had to tell me a couple of times. I was like, man, I'm looking on TV sometimes, looking at these little dudes playing basketball. I'm like, man, I thought I was cold. Like, I could have made it, man. I should have been in the league, man. They're like, nah, if you would have been in the league, you wouldn't have married me. I'm like, yeah, you right.
Well, that boy would have been with a white girl, I tell you.
I've been out here tripping, man. So thank God that he said, nah, you ain't in that life. Man. I needed you to help some other brothers and get you this word. So I
Thank God
thank the
good,
Lord
man.
for that. Verse 10.
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
For the love of money is the root of all evil. Having it don't mean you evil, but he said the love of that money is the root
I
of it.
said that this week, remember?
The root means that's the foundation of all
I said
evil.
it last night.
Because you loving it so much, you'll do whatever to get it. Read on.
Which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
So, hey, the ones that's coveting after this, if you was in the truth, you show enough now about the error from the faith.
For example, if you want to be an actor, some women got to do some foul stuff to be an actor. For the love of money, for that love of that money and fame, you piercing yourself with many sorrows. Now you done got the money, but you had to do such and such and such to get the money. You mentally gone now. It ain't even worth it. Once you get it, you like, man, this wasn't even worth it, man. My soul is gone.
It don't feel right, like you said.
Make sure she don't hit that table.
And if somebody know you want the money, they'll send you on a mission. Kill this man and I'll pay you some money.
Yep. So they pierce themselves through with many sorrows. They feel bad about it. Verse 11.
But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness.
Wow. These are the things you need to be following after. And flee from all that other stuff. Righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience. That's key. Patience, man. You gotta just, like that song say, hold on. I listen to that song about 5 times a day, man. Like, that song is heavy. It's saying, hold on. Just hold on, man. The Lord he got you, man. he gonna make sure everything gonna be alright at the end of the day. It's just like, man, my boy going through it with his own, man, I had to take some time just to reflect on some things. Like, man, it's in the blink of an eye, you could be gone. Your family, anybody, man. We want to leave our kids with something that they can carry this legacy on with. Forget all this other stuff. This stuff is foolishness.
If you click on meekness.
Meekness.
Yeah.
Let's click on.
An understanding of what that means. So when you're faced with trials and tribulations,
humility, being humble, having a humble spirit, gentleness, mildness. You ain't got that wrath on you, that malice in your heart, man. You a meek person. You obey the laws. You go about your day doing what you're supposed to. You ain't all up in everybody's business. You humble, man. You ain't out here bragging about what you got. It is what it is, man. It can be taken away. Verse 17 through 19.
Verse 17. Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living God, which giveth us richly all things to enjoy.
So charge them. It basically means instruct them.
Give command.
Command them. Command the ones that's rich in this world. Hey, don't be high-minded. Because, remember, I'm telling you, it doesn't mean that you might not end up being rich one day. The Lord might bless you with a lot of riches. But you need to have the right spirit when you have it. You need to see, he said, don't be high-minded or have your trust so much in those riches. He said, but in the living God, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy.
Think like Kendrick Lamar.
Exactly.
How humble he is.
So he's coming trying to get knowledge on himself. Knowing that, man, he's saying it in these songs. He's like, I wonder if the Lord give me these things. What is it that he's trying to show me? Because it's a lot going on. Like, he know it. He know that it's women and all types of stuff involved when they come with all of that. But if you ain't got your mind on the right things, you can be destroyed in it, like we just read earlier. And so he said, you make sure you command to these people, because if you got enough people in a congregation, there's gonna be some people in there that live off, that's well off. That's people that come into the truth well off. They got a lot already.
And when you come up, it's quickly to start trying to look down on other people. They talk a little different, walk. You gotta check yourself, is what the Lord trying to say.
Okay. Verse 18.
They that do good, that they be rich in good works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate.
So hey, with those riches, man, do good with it. Make sure you doing what you're supposed to do with it. Like all these Israelite brothers and sisters that's in these positions of power and riches, they need to be doing stuff to help their people. It says, be rich in good works and ready to distribute. Be ready to help the next man.
Willing to communicate.
Willing to communicate.
Don't be just sitting laid up in your house with all those riches while the
No
nation's struggling.
Exactly. You just trying to hold it out for yourself. Being selfish.
You just gonna die, and then somebody else gonna get it.
That's it. Verse 19.
Laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may hold an eternal life. So that's what we should be laying up. Good foundation against the time to come. Because we trying to have what? The eternal life.
That kingdom. This is wise words from Paul. Let's go to Philippians.
That's why he said too much is given, much is required.
Yep. We getting a real understanding of this stuff now. It's really hitting home now. These verses make so much more sense. All these little sayings that you've heard your people say, you heard them, but you didn't really understand what they meant. You were just repeating them. It sounded good. Now you get the real understanding. You like, Lord, thank you. He opening our eyes. We got different eyes now when we read these things. Philippians 4, verses 10 through 13. Again, this is Israelites in Philippi.
Excuse me. Said 10 through 13. But I rejoice in the Lord greatly, that now at the last your care of me hath flourished again, wherein ye were also careful, but ye lacked opportunity.
So I think during this time, Paul was he was writing these letters. He was in prison, right? And so he said, I'm rejoicing greatly that now that the last your care for me has flourished again. Like, it was a time period where the people of Philippi was they cared for him, they were looking out for him and whatnot, and they kind of they fell off a little bit at certain points. He said, wherein you were also careful, but you lacked opportunity. It was other times where they couldn't do as much for him. He said, but I'm rejoicing greatly for that now you're able to do it again. But verse 11.
Not that I speak in respect of want.
I ain't speaking in the fact of that I need it. I want all these things. He's happy for a different reason, basically, what he's rejoicing over.
For I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content.
He's saying whatever state I'm in, whether I'm in prison or I'm out free with the people, I'm good. He said, I've learned to be. He said, I have learned. That's the key word. He said, I learned that to whatever state I am to be with. He wasn't like that at first. We all wasn't like that, but we have to learn these things. We have to practice.
If you're doing better in life at this point in your life, all praises be to the Most High. Mm-hmm. If it's hard times in your life, all praises be to the Most High. Mm-hmm. Be content with what you got. The Lord will see you through.
Life is ebbs and flows. It goes up, goes down. It's like we've always talked about other times where when you have money, put away. Because it's going to be a time where a famine going to come. So be smart about things.
We have seasons.
Exactly. There's a season for everything. You're going to go through it at a certain time, then you're going to come up and another person going to go through it. Now you can help that person. And then when that person come up and you down, now that person going to help you. That's how it's supposed to be.
Don't be sitting around depressed because you're at a low point in your life. The Lord is going to see you through.
Verse 12.
I know both how to be a base. That's click a base.
A base.
That's the lowest state.
To make low, bring low. A metaphor to bring into a humble condition, reduce to meaner circumstances. Basically, you maybe you got demoted at your job. You can't live in the house that you want to live in. Now you got to go back to a 2-bedroom apartment because things is rough.
He said, I know both.
He said, I know both how to be low
and how to be abound.
And how to abound. How to have much. Let's click on that just to get the proper meaning. To have excess. To exceed a fixed number of measures. To be left over and above a certain number of measures. To have great abundance.
When we all
to be redound.
We all
on top.
Certain times in our life we was on top. And they say you meet some people going on, the same people going, when they going up, going down.
Exactly. He said, so first he said, I learned how to be content with whatever state I'm in. Then he said, I know how to be low and I know how to be high, basically. Everywhere, but read on.
Everywhere and in all things, I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need.
So he knows how when he's up and he's full, hey, be humble. Don't be high-minded about those things. We just read it in 1 Timothy where he was telling those people, instruct the rich not to be like that. So he's telling them the things that he learned through Christ. He said, and I know how to be hungry. I know that when I am going through it, when I am low, hey, thank you, Lord, for just what I got. Because it could be a whole lot worse. And I know he going to give me what I need. I know how to abound and to suffer need. I can be in any situation. Verse 13.
I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me.
And we've heard that verse many times, didn't know the proper meaning. Now we got the context of what Paul was talking about. Not saying I can do all wicked things through Christ. I can do all things. I can maneuver through any situation now because the Lord, I know how to be in his word, and that's going to comfort me through it all.
You see how they butchered verse 13? You'll tell somebody you can't eat pork. They'll run to 13 and say, I can do all things in Christ which strengthen me.
Exactly.
That verse Paul wasn't talking about nothing like that.
He was talking about being content. Talking about being able to
be at a high
state, a low state, or whatever state he in, whatever condition he in, whatever thing he going through, whether it's good or bad, he knows that the Lord, I'm going to be grateful to the Most High. Because I got the truth in me. I know I'm keeping the law.
Because it ain't the money that's making me, and it ain't the low state that's going to make me.
Exactly.
Whether you're in the valley or on the mountaintop.
This is
That's sad, man.
I
They just butchered that verse.
I never read the. You know.
Ain't that how
before that?
Because they don't read
If we
the
just
verse.
read a couple verses before we could get the proper meaning.
And
now we know how to read the Bible.
I have that in my house.
Right.
It's
I can do. I know people that got tatted on them. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But they not reading it with the right eyes though. Now you can break this down to somebody.
Thank you, God, for just having us in it. I'm glad you put these verses in this lesson. Cause this going online, somebody gonna get this right understanding of it.
So now we in Romans chapter 7, verse 7.
Romans chapter 7, verse 7. What shall we? This is Paul talking to the Romans. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid.
So is the laws of God sin?
This is the New Testament too.
He said, God forbid. That means no. Of course not.
Nay, I have not known sin, but by thy law.
I wouldn't even know what sin is unless I knew the laws of God. I would still be out here committing sin thinking I'm doing right. And then what?
For I had known not lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet.
Where did the law say that? Didn't we read that? Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, his house or whatever. Don't covet.
Paul asking a question. He basically saying, we don't have to keep the laws no more? He said, God forbid you saying we ain't got to keep the laws no more. He said, I wouldn't even know not to lust if we didn't go back to the Old Testament to hear, thou shalt not covet.
You be thinking it's the right thing to go chasing after money. Why not chase after money? I'm just trying to better myself. Nah, that's lust. You lusting and coveting things that you shouldn't even be worried about that. As long as you got food and raiment, be content.
God gonna give you that.
I had to put that in there to let us know because everything goes back to the laws of God. Everything, no matter what. So, Acts chapter 20. We almost done.
33 through 35.
It's short, sweet, to the point. We just gonna let it be known what the Lord is asking for. Verse 33 through 35.
Acts chapter 20, verse 33.
Wait, hold on. 33.
I have coveted no man's silver or gold or apparel. Yea, ye yourselves know that these hands have ministered unto my necessities and to them that were with me. Paul ain't passing no plate around when he went to all these different lands and asked for money.
Putting in work. This man was putting in work. He ain't asking for not a dime.
You know how they go to church and they pass a plate around for the pastor?
And they read you no scriptures.
He said, these hands have ministered unto my own necessity. He said, I have covered no man's silver, gold, or apparel. I'm teaching you the word and I get what I need to eat and reign my own self.
Exactly. Verse 35.
I have showed you all things, how that so laboring ye ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of the Lord Jesus, how he said, it is more blessing to give than to receive.
So, and that red is Christ's words. He said, telling you. He said, I showed you all things, how that the work you put in, with the work you put in, you have to support the weak. That's what you laboring for. And remember the words of Christ. He said it's more blessed to give than to receive. So you out here trying to get it all the time. Nah, why don't you try to give sometimes, man? Give to somebody else that needs.
This family right here is a prime example of that. We walk in, they got Pampers, they got all this stuff for us. We didn't that. And we turned around and we had a gift for them. It's more blessing to give than to receive. You don't supposed to have your hand out all the time, man.
Exactly. That goes for...
This is called keeping the commandments. This is proof you keeping the commandments.
This is the type of spirit we need to have. It's now, and Lord forgive me for back in the past having that selfish spirit, always thinking about yourself. Now you understand more that it's about other people.
Every time you see your parents, you want something from mom and daddy. Do something for your mom and daddy sometimes, man.
Every time you go out to the mall and think I gotta get something. Can I get this? Can I get that?
For you. Buy something for you.
You save up a little money and help. It could be something just as small as a card or just it's anything, man. It's the thought. It's the thought that counts. Like they say, it's just you trying to show that, hey, I appreciate what you give me, and we need to do that with the Lord also. As far as give Him our time, give Him our undivided attention. Let's put the other things down sometimes and say, man, I'm gonna just give this word for about an hour.
Always sending up prayers, asking for something.
Exactly.
Why don't y'all start giving back to the Lord instead of always praying for something?
Put in work for Him. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 5.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. Let your conversation be without covetousness.
Again, the conversation, not just your speaking, but your way of life, your manner, your behavior. Let it be without that covetous spirit.
And be content with such things as ye have.
Be grateful for what you got.
For He hath said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee.
Lord ain't gonna. He know what you're going through, believe me. He know it before you know it.
Why?
He saw it before you saw it coming. You probably was partying and chilling thinking it was all good. He know that hard time coming before you knew it. So hey, He ain't gonna leave you or forsake you, but don't forsake Him.
Look how many scriptures He keep talking about covetousness and don't covet, don't covet, don't covet. Does He know our wicked minds, man?
Exactly.
He's literally beating it into us.
So many scriptures, man. We're on the last one.
It's a good lesson, man.
I'm gonna keep going. Romans 8, 26 and 27 to top it all up. And this is Alicia, you don't like this.
Romans chapter 8, 26. Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. For ye know not what ye should pray for, as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us, with groanings which cannot be uttered.
The Lord, He know. He said, look, but we know not what we should pray for as we ought. We be praying and stuff and don't really, but He said what? The Spirit itself is making intercession for us with groanings which could not be uttered. The Lord already know what you stand in need of and what you want. Read verse 27.
And He that searches the hearts knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because He make intercession for the saints according to the will of God.
So hey, He gonna make sure you taken care of in the Spirit, the words of God. You keeping the laws and keeping the commandments. It's things that's going up to God, and He knows the prayer. Like you praying, but it's other prayers going up. Other people praying for you, praying for safety for you, and praying for things for you, making intercession for you. Let's click on that though. It says to intercede for one on one's behalf. It's like somebody speaking on your behalf.
They know you a good person. Somebody praying for you right now because they knowing you on the right path.
And like, Lord, please help them get into whatever they need. They need a bigger house, a better car.
My mama prayed for me today when I told her I was going to the doctor. She know I'm in the right, like I'm doing better with my life. So she's sending them prayers up for me. So the Lord may have a blessing on my way. I don't even know that people all over the world praying for you. We pray for y'all all the time, and I know y'all pray for us.
Exactly. We all praying for each. So the Lord putting it on other people's heart to pray for you when you don't even realize it. It's things that you come your way. You like, Lord, why did you? I didn't even ask for this, and you blessed us with this. Goodness gracious! Like the Lord is good, man.
Alicia, when I told you guys I was pregnant, she's like, I prayed so many times
Look
in
at
my
this.
closet for y'all.
Look at that.
And I had no idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bam, baby, come.
Prayer works. Now we know prayer works, especially from the righteous. He gonna hear them prayers. So he said, who are the saints?
Israelites.
The Israelites are the saints. And he said, according to the will of God. Everything gonna be according to His will. Don't worry. You don't need to put your trust in nothing else. So now we get the full understanding of what godliness is with contentment. That's great gain. So shalom, Israel. Thank you for coming together again for this lesson.
It's a beautiful lesson.